Plus Live.
Welcome back to Wook Plus Live. I am the Great Went, joined by T and Cam Herdt. How we doing today, gentlemen?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Fantastic. Had a talk with my daughter on the phone, and you know, when your kid's 21 and she calls you up just to talk, you're like, I'm the man.
Hell yeah. Here we go. Still cool.
It's
Nice.
still cool. Well, I was not cool for a really long time, but she turned 21 a couple weeks ago, and we went out and had a old fashioned, and it was I guess she feels like she's my equal now, as instead of
you've hit the next level, right? It's like that next level up of like, now you can legally drink and hang out and go to those kind of places forever with them again, like now. So now it's like a whole other thing. It's
gonna level with you.
I'm wondering if the younger one has the fake ID now.
Gets handed down.
I know that it exists. I've known for years, but what can we do? What can we do?
It gets handed down.
I was Brandon Bartles for like 3 years. I was 5'8", but I'm actually 6'2", and bartend. I mean, they're just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
I'm wearing lifts.
It's
the thing these days. You know, it's a lot harder these days because mine. What I did was I went and stood against a wall. A guy painted the license on the wall, and you stood there and he took a picture of it and then laminated that shit. And that
like the scene in Vegas Vacation where the dude's just holding up the sign and you just put your head in the sign and it's like the license around it. Yeah. I mean, when we made fake IDs, we use colored pencils to like color in the Colorado and then just like laminated it. And I mean, they were so chintzy back then. There was nothing to it. And now they're so crazy. I don't even know how you deal with making them.
I don't know how you get a fake one. It's got to be big money to get a fake one these days. You just got to use an old one and hope that the door guy's blind, you know?
Yeah. Or knows, or is just in on the gig and it's like, all right, go. Like,
or hit up Brandon Bartles. Hit that guy up. He's 36 now, but I mean, you know.
Right.
But he looks 22, so
it was just like some girl was like, "You guys look like so much alike," and I was like, "Do you got an ID?"
Got an extra?
I will buy that ID from you, dude.
Right. I will pay for you to get a new one and buy you a beer.
Yeah, right.
Once I follow you in the bar and they see the ID twice in a row.
I wonder if that guy watches the show. Hey, Brandon Bartles.
You're out there?
Saying his full fucking name on the show.
Call us. We want to hear the real story.
Yeah, right.
It's a great name, though. By the way, it's a good name.
Yeah.
It sounds fake. Like I thought you made that up for your fake ID, but it's a real dude. That's even better.
I'd be famous. I'd be a famous comedian right now if my name was Brandon Bartles. That's a bookable name. Cam Herdt is just like, ugh.
Right. Dude, Brandon Bartles is star.
Oh, fuck, I'd go watch that. Put that guy in a movie.
You need to work on it.
I'm gonna change
let me ask you something. Let's take a complete left turn before we even get into the set list. The picture I used for the thumbnail is you in the back of a cab. You have an IDMB page. What is the story behind you in the back of the cab?
That was a 48-hour film festival in Chicago where you got 48 hours to make a short film, and you had to like include all these certain little elements in it, and then it would play at a theater in Chicago. And that was kind of like the first thing I was ever on camera for. I did a lot of improv and stand up in Chicago, but the girl in the picture who was driving the cab was like, Cam would be good for the guy that we have to kill in this. He'd be really good at getting murdered with a bag. And so if you watch that, if that's still out there, I get murdered with a bag in that.
Nice.
And I'm like,
we all got murdered once. We did a take on the Blair Witch Project once.
Oh yeah.
And we all got taken out at the end of that. Maybe even twice. We might have done another Halloween thing. God help us. All right, let's jump into this. Are you clicking or am I clicking? You're clicking over there. There, look at that.
We spent all day. We spent all day. Literally, we spent all day figuring out how to make this thing work. So we'll be damned if we're not going to use it tonight.
So the thing that jumped out at me that I just saw the other day, there's something called Love Rock's New York City concert that is benefiting something called God's Love We Deliver. I guess it's food or housing or something like that. And it's a bunch of comedians on the top, Amy Schumer, Tracy Morgan, but then a bunch of musicians, Alicia Keys, Beck, Cher. I mean, I'm just, and then at the end, they're like, oh, and Trey. So
at the bottom, at the very bottom is Trey, like under like the War and Treaty and Peter Frampton and Michael McDonald. Like if there's a Trey and Michael McDonald mashup that happens, I mean, and
minute by minute.
I mean, I would hope some of that just wears off on Trey, and suddenly they want to play some Michael McDonald in the spring tour.
Steely Dan, or
come on.
I feel like if they play like some Steely Dan or What a Fool Believes or something like that, he'll laugh through that. That's a thing that Trey will not be able to make it through. He'll like do his giggle thing, and also like it's at the Beacon, right? It's at the
yeah.
It feels like that feels like a comedy show where you have to have the landlord on the bill. Like it's because like Trey is like technically kind of like huge here, so you gotta.
He gets invited to everything. He just kind of like it's just a running on the guest list.
Right. I would be really interested to see Trey play with Michael McDonald. Will be fun. Beck. I think that would be neat. And Dave Stewart, do a Eurythmics tune.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. That would be great. I mean, Mavis Staples, Cher and Trey. Come on. I mean,
Cher,
Alicia Keys and Trey. He puts a little solo on an Alicia Keys song. That would be fucking.
I mean, Cher and Michael McDonald. Like,
no one's talking about that.
I know, right? Like we're all hyped up on Trey, but let's get some of the other mashups together here.
Yeah,
come on.
Trey, don't be telling yourself if I could turn back time after this. Get up there on stage with Cher.
He's wearing the same outfit as whatever she's wearing. Oh man.
No.
Like the Sonny Bono version of what she's wearing, like how they always do to have the
like a big lapel.
You, babe.
Trey and Cher, I got you, babe. Fuck yeah. Oh, I would donate $1,000 right away to whatever this is.
Make it happen. We're sending big money for that.
I don't have $1,000.
That's fantastic. So this weekend, there was another announcement from your second favorite band, or maybe your favorite band, about some more shows, right?
Another Night Zero show they're doing. As we know, they're doing Night Zero out here before the Hollywood Bowl run, and then they're gonna do Night Zero in Boulder before the 4th of July run. So Taper's Choice announcing yesterday, I don't even know when they announced it, but that they're going to do a show with Fox Theater in Boulder, which is sweet. Tickets go on sale Friday for that. So another reason to get to town early, just like coming to LA. Night Zero band. I love it. What a great way. What a warm up, man. What a great warm up for the weekend, man, both times. I mean,
perfect warm up. Yeah.
Fantastic. So yeah.
I like them because they're a small bar band. They keep doing these Night Zeros. All of a sudden, they're going to be playing small theaters, and then you lose that edge. I like a bar band.
I like a bar band. They're in that zone right now where it's like that, and there's been, second time playing the Troubadour already, which is pretty awesome. So, and then going, the Fox, they're starting to grow already. Like getting the Fox in Boulder is that next kind of little step there. So it's good to see. It's fun. It's cool.
Yeah, the Fox is a cool place.
It is.
The Night Zero energy is cool too. Everyone's there kind of to like meet up before the weekend started. Everyone just flew into town. Everyone's all stoked for the shows and everything. And so makes for it's like a fun thing for them to play for. And so, yeah, like that's also what helps bring part of the edge is there. Like
I always tend to
bring in the party.
Well, yeah, you overdo it. I tend to overdo it when left to my own, like, of course, right? Like when you're just hanging out with your buddies or whatever, you kind of like, at least giving me something to do sort of confines it in that, like, well, if I get wasted, at least I know, you know what I mean? It kind of gives you a little bit more, I don't know. At least you're like, okay, I can go out and have a couple beers and not like get too out of control, hopefully. But
yeah. No, when I was at that Night Zero thing.
You run into all the people and they're like, let's do a shot. And then the next thing you know, you're
yeah. What were you saying, Cam?
I did that Night Zero show for Goose before Goose Miss, and I'm like, you know, trying to stay with my head on my shoulders for this. It's the biggest show I've ever done. You know, it's a lot of people there. I'm by myself. And so I'm not doing the shots beforehand. And like by the time I got on stage, I'm like, I am the most sober motherfucker in this room right now. Like everyone is partying. Like I need to catch up.
You're like, I waited.
You said before we jumped on, Cam, that you went to this Luna place. What is this thing with Goose all about? What do you know about it?
So it's like an exhibit that's been popped up in New York. I think they did it in Chicago. They did it in LA when I lived in LA, and Jess and I did it for Valentine's Day. But it's like it was a carnival in the 80s that these historic artists lent their art to make a carnival for kids, and I think they put it up in Germany. And so it was there's like a Basquiat Ferris wheel with like a huge monkey's ass on it, and like a Salvador Dali mirror room, and there's like Keith Haring people all over the place. And the story of the actual Luna thing is very fucking cool, and they've hosted a couple concerts. I know they've done like I think Andre 3000 did a show at the one in LA when he put that album out recently. But that is a really fucking cool thing to go to regardless of Goose. And so it's gonna be like a very special show if you got tickets to that.
Congrats. And they're doing the improvised hour, whatever they said, the improvised.
They're gonna do that.
So that seems like an appropriate place from the pictures. I went and pulled up pictures. I've never been in it, but yeah, that's fascinating. And I guess that's a great way to do your album release. You know, you always do an album release show, but it seems like they elevated a little bit by picking that place.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. And then I'm sure they're also them working with that place is going to probably open them up to some people who are really into this Luna thing that are like, I don't even know what Goose is, but I'm going to go because I like this.
Goose Miss this year, Off the Hook with the Luna people.
It was cool.
I mean, that thing's cool. It's always cool when there's something around it that's enhances the show or like companions the show type thing, you know, like that makes it just cooler because then you get sort of a different element of people there anyway, like you said, like people who want to go check out that anyway and then get the music on top of it. So that's cool. That's really cool.
It's very they had like puppets walking around. It's a little like a it's a little like a fishy experience, like a festival. Like they've got all these art installments around. So yeah, it'll probably add a pretty cool element to all the improv and the show and everything.
Nice. That's a tough ticket for people to get. I got a pretty tough ticket coming up Saturday with God Street Wine. Cam, we have talked to Lou Faber, a couple of the other guys multiple times on the channel. One of the best moments ever when Liv was T and I got into it about what one of his songs meant. And Tim was like, what are you doing, man? He's sitting here, and Lo was like, no, I want to hear what they think.
We're like, no, it's about this. And he's like, no, it's about this. And Lo's like, actually, it's not about either one of those things, but it's funny you guys think that. You're like, what? No way. No, I'm right. No.
It ruined my whole life. So I get to see them. Very excited about that.
Is that the Ardmore Music Hall show? Ardmore?
They're playing in they're playing somewhere in Philly, and then I'm going to Atlantis. I live in Baltimore.
Okay.
So DC's my spot there. Atlantis is a cool little club if you ever are around and get a chance to go there. Saw Lamp there and some other things. I can't even remember now. But you have something coming up. Dogs playing at Brooklyn Bowl. Dogs, I feel like, are right there with Eggy vying for all the eyes, all the ears right now.
Yeah, we were talking about, one of the things that was maybe going to come up was like underrated or unsung jam bands. And I mean, I make it no secret that I fucking love Dogs in the Pile. Those guys are awesome. And they're all really fucking talented, super talented dudes. And so they're playing the Brooklyn Bowl 2 nights, March 28th and 29th. And I'm going to go to that. Even though I live in California, I will be out in New York for some other shit. And so I'm going to catch those shows. That'll be my first time going to the Brooklyn Bowl.
Nice.
Sweet.
Nice. Yeah. I saw the remnants of the Radiators there once, and it was not packed.
Yeah.
And they have never played there again. So there is that story. And I guess both of you guys got a bunch of PHiSH coming up, right? I thought I was going to have T for some of these after shows, but he's like, nah.
I'll be around though. I think I'll do Seattle. I'm not going to do Portland. I probably won't do San Francisco now because of the Taper's Choice show. I'll have to be down here for that. So I don't think making that one night run is rough. Like I did that for their last show and it's tough. So I'll probably just come home after Seattle and then do the after shows with you for Portland and San Francisco and then do the LA run. So that's what I'm thinking to make my life easier and affordable.
And you're doing the whole run, Cam?
I'm doing the last time they did this West Coast run, my brother lucked out and got a couple 3-day passes for Berkeley, and I was living in LA at the time, so I did Hollywood Bowl and we did that. But this time, I'm living in the Bay Area, so it's a little easier to get up to Seattle, and so I can kind of do this. I can do this run pretty easy. I got some buddies in every spot to stay with, and
that makes it so nice. That makes it so easy. That's awesome. Yeah. Like Seattle's a little bit of a push for me. I got some buddies up there. It's just still, it's such a far trip. Like it's way longer than it feels like it should be of a trip from down here. Like it always is. So I always skip that one, but I love it when shit aligns. Like fall 21 was perfect. Like I was able to pretty much do that whole tour because it just aligns when you're like, oh shit, this is so easy. I can totally do this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like it's perfect. So that's awesome that you're able to do everything. I think Portland's going to be the fun show of the tour. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So
I think you can speak to that, Steve.
It's pretty sweet. The bowl, I don't know. It depends on like how you would like to enjoy a show also. And like, I like being close. I like seeing shit. I like being in sort of down. So for the bowl, that's kind of hard to do unless you can pay. I mean, last time I dropped a small fortune on being like second row and then getting a box for like. So if you want to do that, it's awesome and it's fantastic. And I think one night of that is awesome. But if you don't mind and you just want to be in the back and shit, it's cool for that too. I don't like being back on the bleachers because you're so far away, and I've seen a lot of shows like that and you're mostly watching the monitor the whole night. And I mean, it's fun because you can just kind of like do whatever, but I don't know. I like seeing PHiSH up close and being like close to them. So for the bowl, for me, it's a mixed bag. And I don't know. The parking there is insane. So like I have a whole ritual that I do for like going there. I park down on like behind like where Jimmy Kimmel's filming, like behind the El Capitan. I park there and walk. Because like right. No, it's like I want people to do it because it's insane. Like I mean, the best part is because then after the show, the walk out is like nothing else. Like the nitrous and the fucking madness of coming out.
It's
of the bowl
just they're just like putting it right in your chest.
It's like it's insane, but also you're trapped because all the cars, it's stacked parking, so it's such a weird release. Like you're stuck with all these cars that are also trying to get out, and like there's people like with balloons. Like it's such a weird cosmic fucking. It's not made for that. It's made for like the symphony and like adults to go and be adults and leave in proper fashion and shit. It's not made for like a bunch of fucking wooks and shit to show and be like, bleh, and like I don't know how to get out of here with cars and balloons and like
that little tunnel that goes underneath the I mean like that was a wild scene down there. I mean it was fucking just so
it's all madness. Like you just want to get the best thing to do is get down the bottom and hang a right and sit in that little area, and it's just like tanks and balloons, and you just sit there for like I don't know, just let everything.
Poor hot dog ladies, those hot dog ladies are fucked. They're like we kind of own it out here, you got to move these tanks if I'm going to sell these bacon wrapped hot dogs.
Right? They're like, hey, we own this. We own this sidewalk. And these guys are like, nah, my nitrous tank's coming through.
There you go. John was the one last week.
Oh, that's good. That was another nightmare. Like that. It was just, it's a fun thing though. It is cool, but it's just, the first couple times you go, if you're not prepared, you're kind of like, what the fuck did I just get into? Like, I was not ready for this. Like,
I was just like doe-eyed when I first went because it's just the Hollywood Bowl and I hadn't lived in LA yet. And it was like the Beatles played here. And, I mean, it's fucking, and it's still very historic, but it's like got like the Disney World, like upgrades with the fucking escalators and shit. and
you go in and buy like wine, like bottles of wine, and like cheese and charcuterie, and like it's made again, like it's a different crowd. Like
did they let you also bring in your own wine and charcuterie?
Yeah, as long as it fits under the seat, which is like that's you can bring a full fucking cooler in,
right, well,
which is not a secret. That's a cool thing to
right.
do.
Wolf trap is like that. On the lawn, you can bring a picnic basket, bottle of wine, couple glasses. I used to love
picnic
going
is
there.
cool. I will
It's like
say, like, to
Ravinia in
me,
Chicago.
I think the Greek is a cooler venue. It's like smaller. It's like lodged in that little area. It's like totally not
And it
like you're
looks
there
like
and
a
you're like, I'm in
temple.
LA. Like it doesn't feel like feels like something that should be in like Colorado. Like it's like almost like a mini Red Rocks type thing, the way it's situated on the hillside. Like I love that venue. Like that venue fucking kills. So when bands
that
are
was
still
such a
that
cool thing to
size,
do.
like J-Rad and shit, when you're that size to be able to play that place, that's the shit. Hollywood Bowl is like, it's just, I don't know, it's too big. I'd rather see him play the Forum, to be honest with you. Like that.
Oh yeah,
I feel like they blow the doors off the Forum lately. So like, just play there, or like play the new Intuit Dome and let's check out how that place sounds with it all. So
I've definitely listened back to that Forum 2021 show way more times than I have any of the Hollywood Bowl shows from that 2023 run. Even though there's like a lot of really good stuff from that 2023 run. I mean, I've listened to that Forum show in 2021 like 100 fucking
totally. My buddies and I always still all talk about it because they were out here for it. Like that show was like, and it was
so awesome.
You don't get, I mean, I've seen a lot of LA shows and Forum shows and like whatever out here, and like up until recently, probably 4.0 especially, California didn't get a lot of great shows. You get like one-off weird things and like, like, you got 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover at the Hollywood Bowl, but like the rest of the show is very, you know what I mean? Like even the Valentine's Day show out here that year, when they did cover the Rolling Stone, okay, decent show, a couple highlights, but you're not going back to listen to it. So to your point, like really that show is one that I definitely go back and listen to.
That fall 21 tour though is the 4.0 tour.
Well, yeah. I mean, the night before in Chula, that Piper and that fucking
the whole run. Every night they knocked it out of the park with something. And
but that's what makes that Forum show work, because it was part of that run. So it's like that special type, I agree.
That's when I moved to LA from Chicago. I planned my move. I was like, I'll just move then. They're sick. I'll just do it then. And I like got to LA. Like all my bags were still like, I had like my bed was on the floor. Like all my bags were still packed in my room, but I was at that Forum show with my friend who did not want to go, but I was like, I'll buy us mushrooms and it'll be sweet. And he like, he was like, I see why you come to this. I get it. I'm like, you don't, but it's okay.
Yeah. He got it in his own way.
Well, I mean, that's a good show to kind of have, like, if you're going to suffer through a show or whatever, like that was a pretty good show to like suffer through. I mean, the crowd energy in that thing when they dropped into that LA Woman was fucking outrageous. I mean, if you're a fan or not.
I'm like, yes, it is, dude.
He's like, I can associate with this. Okay, yes.
I'm like, very good.
All right, let's move on to this nonsense.
Oh man,
we talked about this the other week. T and I did about Fyre Fest 2 happening, and Brian, whatever the guy's name is, we were like, that's sketchy. Well, apparently the place that it's supposed to be, the government of that country is like, we've never even heard from anybody. We know nothing about this. And he's still selling tickets on his website. I mean,
the tourism board's like, we have no information and no knowledge of anything happening on the island, whatever. And then on that same thing further down, he's like, yeah, we're still fucking telling shit. And like, they know and blah, blah, blah. You're like, what is happening? What is happening?
He just didn't pull off like the craziest shit of all time. And then he's now like, yeah, we're just going to do it again. Exactly. The same.
Ja Rule is staying very far away.
He's like,
he's got some like people with him though, right? Doesn't he have like a rapper or two like down and like taking pictures with him and stuff? And like,
yes.
Oh man.
So he's I guess teasing what, I mean, there's not even any artist announced. And if you
got to tip your cap.
Big names,
they
have gigs at that time.
I mean, the scam really, I mean, it's pretty.
You know how hard it is to sell tickets to shit?
14,000 just to walk in the door, 25,000 for a hotel package, 1.5 million for a yacht.
And for what? You don't even know what it's for yet. Like, that's what's amazing. Like,
cheese sandwich.
literally selling you nothing.
Get that cheese. You get that cheese sandwich.
Cheese sandwich, man.
Cheese sandwich. Oh God.
No, I mean, yeah, just to the sheer nuts on this guy. I mean, come on, that's balls.
And to even like call it the same thing again too, like to put the same.
I'm over here like, man, I would love to do some sort of like show or like a live podcast taping, but I don't know how I would pull it off, and it's a little too hard. A pussy. That guy's that guy. Fucking
hey man, we talk about it all the time. We talk about we're like we know enough bands and people that we should try and put together like a Wook Fest and like do like a 2-day little show festival, you know, like we talk and blah blah blah, and it'd be so like we know blah blah blah, and then this guy's over here like, hey, you know what I'm gonna do absolutely nothing and like not show you anything.
No sponsors. A pile of money. I mean, think of all the festivals that have disappeared over the last few years because they financially couldn't do it or canceled like a week before.
These festivals barely make money, man. Like it's usually funded by some guy who's like just rich and doesn't give a fuck, and then like finds out that he doesn't make any money, and they're like, "We're not doing this anymore." Like, you know, like that's, you know, like
it almost seemed like High Sierra was going to be gone after the founder guy passed away, but they're going through with it again. I mean, Mountain Jam disappeared, or the Poconos. What was that thing?
They're doing it again now. PHiSH Fest.
Right, yeah. But are they doing it on the shore again like they did?
They're doing Mountain Jam and Bel Air Mountain. Which is like up, yeah. And that's what I'm going out to New York for in April. Me and Dogs are going to do this like walkthrough of the venue for them to kind of like show off where it's going to be. So there's going to be like a little like promo.
Cool.
You're going to do a
thing
set?
Of that coming out.
Nice.
You're going to
I will not be doing a set at Mountain Jam. I will be at a wedding in Italy. Funny enough. And so no, I will not be at Mountain Jam, even though the lineup looks cool and I would love to go, and but I can't go. Can't do it.
So tell me about performing at Monda Green. I gotta ask.
That was awesome. That was like a really ideal kind of situation. You know, like performing around this music stuff it's cool, but it's very difficult. Like, you know, comedians don't want to perform at a music show because there's fucking music and everyone's like, let's get to the music. Why is this guy fucking talking?
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so, and I'm able to kind of talk about what's going to happen at the show a little bit in the set. And so at least that lends itself to the show a little bit. But Monda Green was great because, you know, it was just like that's what it's going to be. It's just going to be comedy for this half hour. I booked Max Fine with me too. So he did a set, and he's like, he does the Cellar. He's a great fucking stand-up. Yeah, it was cool. I mean, everyone was kind of like laying in the grass and smoking joints and there for the show, and there was no like bar situation. It was like it was very much like a comedy show. You know,
did you get to drink any of the song branded beers? Because I never was there early enough to get one.
No,
that was such a scam. I don't believe they existed. I don't think they really existed.
I'm not like drinking a ton right now anyway, so I wouldn't have been like up to get in the line for the beer guy, you know.
If you're gonna hand me one, I'll take it. But
yeah, if they had we're doing like a Page indica strain joint pass out thing, I'd have been like, all right, we should probably get down there for that. We should get down there for the Page joints.
I'll hit that.
There you go. So no Monda Green. I don't think they're gonna do Monda Green again.
Ever?
I think they might do another festival at some point in the future, but they're not going to go back there and do that thing again there.
No, it doesn't feel like something that they would do anyways, repeating
that. Right. And I just like, it doesn't seem to me they're going to repeat the Sphere, even though people are telling me, no, they will play the Sphere again.
Well, maybe it won't be around.
Might be closed by then.
Right? Exactly.
Shit. For real. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard a lot of like, you know, Sphere Halloween rumors, but I've also heard from people like that's definitely not fucking happening. So I don't know. I mean,
it would be a long fall tour because they're doing the Bourbon and Beyond, right?
yeah.
So, I mean, to play all the way through to the end of October would be kind of weird. I think they're going to be Bourbon and Beyond's going to do a 4-city run, open a 4-city run, and that's going to be called a fall tour.
So, and then no Halloween, nothing.
I don't think they're going to do Halloween again. I don't know.
Again, ever?
I feel like from the interviews Trey did last year, like GQ and all that, I feel like he's very much in a frame of mind. Let's do it once and then move on and do the next thing because I got 90 things I want to do. Why go back and redo something I already did?
Yeah.
Because they always do that, though. I think it's just like, I think everything changes a little bit or evolves or like moves forward. Nice. Right. But I think it also comes back to things like I don't think they won't play Dick's again. I don't think they won't play the Sphere again. I don't think they won't. I don't think they won't do a festival again. I think all these things just take time. They're not going to do them every year. They might not do them every 2 years. Like things take time other than, I mean, even Mexico, like, John was talking about last week, moving locations or moving to the DR or whatever that might be. Changing it up in ways. They still do the things. They might change it up. They might come back, but I still think there's like, again, to use the word, to evolve, to like use an evolution of like what their shows are and where they're playing and what they're doing with it. So,
right. But anyway, what the story is they lost money again, $308 million or something last quarter. And apparently MSG Networks, which does all the sports networks, are facing bankruptcy. But it's all lumped together. Apparently they owe $804 million to someone. So these are numbers I can't even comprehend. It's just obscene.
To someone just out there, Dolan's company owes money to, you never know. Like, we just need the Knicks and the Rangers to be good and go deep in the playoffs, and like everything's fine. That's that's all they need. So, and to book more shows at the Sphere, which again we've talked about more than once on here. It's if you would have told me this is who would be playing the Sphere a year, 2 years in, and it's been PHiSH, Dead & Co twice, the Eagles, Kenny Chesney, and the Backstreet Boys, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
no. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Right? Like, no.
And you just got to wonder who's saying no to this and like whose teams are like,
why?
No fucking way are we doing that? Like
I've been hoping for Beyonce. I think she could do a great show in there.
Well, I think not getting any of those big names, like even Timberlake. I mean, Backstreet Boys is like one, but not even like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I've been kind of like, I feel like I've been seeing a lot of Paul McCartney stuff in the news or Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr type stuff. And so I've been feeling like they're going to like eventually build up to some sort of Beatles, Cirque du Soleil, amazing show. That seems like a no-brainer. Or like Roger Waters doing Pink Floyd stuff there seems like a no-brainer. Lady Gaga already performs in Las Vegas. She has a huge fucking show and she tours. Like
new album coming out.
There are only so many acts that have a big enough show that like would make sense for a place like that. I don't think Kenny Chesney is necessarily one of them.
And what are the graphics for that, right? Like, I mean, you're
a beach the whole fucking time. It's a beach with a beer in the sand with a fucking, like
Corona commercial.
The tractors flying overhead.
Yeah.
Flying
or like
through the
yeah, that's gonna be ass. But I mean, like I feel like the Beyoncés and the Lady Gagas that are able to pull off that kind of a show, or like, Roger Waters when he does his tour is a fucking huge production. So like, that's also just what I want to see.
You get a symphony in there to do like an indoor planetarium kind of thing. Just show all kinds of crazy graphics with the symphony playing.
Laser Floyd, bring back Laser Floyd.
Come on, dude.
I mean, that's an easy Friday night gig right there, right? Every Friday night at the Sphere, Laser Floyd, done.
Well, they had New Year's.
That sells out.
New Year's they had a DJ. What's the overhead on that? You pay the DJ,
dude. Not just that, but that guy extended the residency. Like I think his first thing was for I can't remember 5 shows or so. He ended up playing a ton of shows like for that whole thing. So I mean, things do sell out. Things do move through there. So I'm surprised there's not even more of that. Like even like. I don't know, EDM shows that are in Vegas. I don't know. It's kind of weird that it hasn't been more booked out and more for lack of a better word, more spectacular with the guests that have been coming through there. Like, I don't know. I kind of thought it would be big names, and so you've got a lot of nostalgia.
Big names. There have been
What?
big names. There's big names. I mean,
well, I mean, you too, yes, but then it seemed like PHiSH. Not everybody's obviously not everybody is
not the logical next step,
right? And then Dead and Co.
Coldplay,
yeah,
fucking something like that. Like,
yes, exactly.
Radiohead. Exactly. Could Radiohead do it?
Of course, but I'm sure that there's a ton of artists that have been reached out to that are like, no, I'm not doing it. We're not doing that.
Tool, but people would probably be like jumping off the balconies if Tool was in there with the graphics.
Dude, the sound and graphics would be intense. But that's what it's built for. So, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, to your point, Cam, the amount of people saying no or their reasonings behind saying no, it has to be so interesting. Like, I'd love to know who and why are like, no.
Madonna? No. Why not a Madonna? She has all the hits. She could do an hour and a half of just.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so, I don't know. It's crazy. Even the Dead and Co., like the way Dead and Co. has it set up, they're not even playing, like the Thursday, Friday, Saturday runs or whatever it is so brilliant too. It's like, it just feels like it's, oh yeah, we'll take whatever. You want to play Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Fine, no problem. Don't even worry about it. That's fine. Like, okay, cool. Like, okay.
I probably won't be hitting any of that, and I'm not upset about it.
I went to Vegas for 30 hours, not even 20 hours once. Flew in, saw the Halloween show, flew out, and freaked out. I'll have to tell you the story sometime. It was a night.
It wasn't. Kevin calls freaking out.
I fucking hate Vegas. It's a really weird place to go after a PHiSH show. I mean, like, after like to walk out into Vegas is like some people's idea of probably a perfect place to go after a PHiSH show, but I'm like, this is fucked. Like,
it's a little overstimulation. Like, it's a little overstimulating.
After the first night of the Sphere, at PHiSH Sphere, we went to the Brooklyn Bowl after show, and it was LPGOB, and I was just like, it was like, and I'm like, I gotta go. I have to go put my face in a pillow in a hotel room right now because I can't handle any more anything. Like, I can't see another light right now for like 5 minutes. Like, give me 5.
Give me complete darkness and a weighted blanket for like a few hours.
And then I'll come back out. But you got to give me like a second after that. That was crazy.
Let my mind turn off. All right, so
program.
Dickie's kid, Dwayne Betts, did a huge tribute show that turned into an Allman Brothers reunion, basically. And seeing Warren and Derek and Oteil up there together again, when I guess it was Liz Reed, they completely just. I wish they would tour. I wish there were. I guess that's what maybe that's what that thing is at Madison Square Garden is going to be, something similar to that.
Yeah, I mean,
I would kill for that to turn into like the Dead and Co. of the Allman Brothers. I would kill for that. That would be amazing,
right? Totally. Yeah. Like, it should too, because Kev, to your point, it's so good to see, and to see them like playing off each other, just like the jamming was so fucking like the Oteil, nothing. It was like it was so flawlessly crazy, and how we talk about like with Dead and Co, how Oteil works his magic with them and like what he does, but like to see it in that, I was like blown away, because you don't see them play that often and stuff like you see Dead and Co. So to see them that naturally fit together so well, you're like, oh man, we need more of this.
Yeah,
a lot more of this. It was great.
I mean, having Joe Russo on drums for that show is gonna just be that's like the perfect fucking piece for that. Yeah, I don't know. Like, my parents are not big Deadheads. They're huge Allman Brothers people, and they liked Rush and they liked Yes, but they really liked the Allman Brothers, and so they're doing the Brothers thing. They've done they do every Allman Brothers fucking everything. They were not at that Dickie Betts tribute, but that's Warren Haynes and Derek Trucks as a duo, like that's really fucking special shit when that comes together, and like that's the best you can do for Allman Brothers recreation is those two.
Back in the 90s, they were my other band. that I always would. They came through town, you definitely went to see him. And then Warren, I guess Woody got in a fight, I guess, with Dickie. And one of them punched the other one, and that's why he left the band and Government Mules started, which for many years were my favorite band. I was like, okay, we've taken all the best things and just sucked it out of there and gave God, I miss that so much. But yeah, watching just Derek and Warren up there, it's like they're telepathic. Even if they don't see each other for a year, you put them on stage, it's gonna happen.
It's crazy the way they just can do that, connect like nothing else. Like it was, it's astonishing. It's fucking amazing.
I like watching Trey like give the googly eyes to Derek when they've played together, because he's just so like, he just loves him so much. He's such like a fan of Derek Trucks, and like that's the thing with those two is like those are every guitar player's favorite guitar players are those two guys, and so when they come together, that's like a clinic, you know.
It is. It's amazing. Yeah, it's phenomenal to watch and hear and see, and like and it all comes through. And then
especially on Liz Reed, it's like fucking, I mean, or like Dreams, if they did like, you know, like that shit is like, when they come together for stuff, that's nuts. And I was a kid when they were playing with Allman Brothers together, and so I was not going to those shows with my folks when they were going, but I've seen Derek Trucks play a bunch with, you know, Derek Trucks band, and then now with Tedeschi Trucks. And like, if you get one Allman Brothers song in that show, it's like, oh my God, you know, and but like, that show at MSG is going to be special. And I really fucking hope they tour that, because I want to see it.
You're much more likely to get a Mountain Jam from Trey.
Right. Yeah. Right. Truly.
All right. I mean, it would be nice if they toured after that, though. They really should. I mean, that's one of those things. It's kind of like Dead 50 or Dead and Co, where like they do it and then they're like, oh, you know what? We should like keep doing this. Like it kind of works, you know? Like, I mean, it's one of those things where everyone know it works. Like, do it. Come out and do it.
I really hope it kind of works. Yeah.
You know, like let's small tour even, like whatever. But yeah, it should be. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm watching an Eggy stream the other night, and Jake was playing one of Jerry's guitars, and all of a sudden I see you out on stage. What was going on with that?
That is so on that song, Onitsuka Tiger, if I'm saying that right, I don't even know. But they in like 2023, they have a version of that where they play it for like a half hour, and at the end of it, they do like a story where they talk about, and it's like a very like Trey, you know, walking through the forest, and we came upon this cave.
All jam bands have to do that at some point.
You got to do it. And it's it's like an Albany show or something, and it's a great song. And they're like, we've done that before. Would you want to do that in Berkeley when you get back from like the day you get back from Jam Cruise? And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Sure.
And I pretty much was like, had like a brain cell or two left after that whole experience. And then that was cool. They're just like, just improvise. You don't gotta fucking
so was that a true story about the edible and all?
No, it wasn't. I was just riffing. But Sean, my buddy who runs Long Strange Putt, I don't know if anyone follows that account, very funny memes and cool merch, but he is kind of running their socials and their merch right now, and he's on tour with those guys. And so I just used it as an opportunity to kind of boost his Eggy lore, you know, make him part of the deal, you know. And so and he's having a blast with those guys, and those guys are all very funny and just very like, you know, relaxed dudes, even keel.
The places you can go being a merch guy, the legend of Matt Bush, he started off as God Street's merch guy,
right. Yeah. And you know, Sean's really brilliant with the social media stuff. He's been helping them, and they already are great with their sketches and stuff that they do, and they're super funny. And so he's kind of like a match made in heaven for them, kind of helping out. And so like I knew I was going to be hanging out with those guys when they were coming to town, mostly because I know Sean, and I've, you know, now I'm starting to get to know the Eggy dudes. But they were super funny, and they had a bunch of comedy questions, and they were asking about improv and all this stuff, and meanwhile they're like ripping up this West Coast tour. I mean, every show is I haven't really ever
free.
kind of
All of
dedicated
them.
listening to them, but yeah, really fucking good, dude.
Yeah.
Everything but the one Nug show from Boulder or Denver or whatever was free on YouTube, which is Spafford did this a few years back. I knew Disco Biscuits did it pre-pandemic, I believe. But it's such a brilliant marketing tool because I've watched so much Eggy. I know so much more about them than I did at the end of last year, you know?
Yeah, that's important shit to have. I think that is also like part of why like Goose started doing well after the pandemic. They had like a couple really good videos out that people just watched 100 fucking million times, and they're like, I can't wait to see this. So yeah, it's important to have that stuff out because people watch it.
The beach blanket bingo or whatever they did during
Yeah.
lockdown. They got
Well, yeah, and the drive-in thing that they did, the drive-in thing was huge. I mean, they own the pandemic. Like we talk about that all the time. Like nobody has owned like a period of time to like have a more meteoric rise in their career than those guys did through the pandemic and coming out of it. It was brilliant. Like
they went from opening for pigeons to playing on top of Rockefeller Center.
Seriously,
I mean,
like a year.
It helped. That's why I got really super into Giz over the last 2 years, is because they've got fans that are doing it on, putting their shows up on YouTube, and they're cool with it. And so I'm watching all the live streams of those shows too. And then I'm like, oh man, like foaming
I like
at the
that you
mouth.
can't you like make your own album and release it of their
on their shit. Yeah.
You just got to give them one. Yeah.
I think that shit is phenomenal. I mean, I can't tell you how many people even come up with the Taper's Choice shows and be like, "Oh yeah, I watch the videos on YouTube. That's how I know them and shit." So like that's why I love filming them, because like it's awesome to have like a fucking history of it and like putting it out there. So I mean, the Internet Archive Suite too, because people go there and like actually listen to the bootlegs. That's why like having people tape the shows is so awesome too, because you still get that. But I always feel like the videos are that extra layer, because then you kind of get that feeling of like what they look like, how they look jamming, like being in the crowd, like what it sounds like, what the venue looks like. Oh, look, they're at Nectar's. Let's check them out playing. Oh, look at this fucking, like the venues are half the fun too. Like you said earlier, Kev, when they play small bars like Kung Fu Necktie in Philly, place is rad. Like you want to film in there, like you want to show that shit off and be like, check this fucking bar out. So like if you ever go to Philly, go check out that bar, like it's cool. So yeah, I totally agree. That's one of the reasons why bands that let you do that, like the Choice guys letting me film all their shit, is so fucking cool. Like bands that don't give a shit and realize that that's like part of like
the Grateful Dead school of
the thing now, right? Exactly. And they're just like them. They're like, hey man, it's out there. Like we don't, once we play it, it's yours. Do what you want with it. And you're like, sweet, I will. Like, yes.
PHiSH, Widespread, God Street Wine, they all work that. The first time I ever God Street Wine, it was a filler on a Grateful Dead first set, because you always had an extra 20 minutes and somebody put 2 songs. Oh, I like that. Let me get the whole show. Then
you're like, who are these guys? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, then they're out there too. Like if you didn't watch the live stream that night, like if you ever look up Eggy now, there's like fucking 8 full shows you can watch and you can pick between. And yeah, that's a cool thing of them to do. And I feel like that helps you get people interested and then wanting to buy tickets next time they're in town,
For sure. And I think the same thing with like venues that live stream. Like I was talking to the guys in Denver at Cervantes or whatever it's called, and they just rigged their main room with all these cameras and all this equipment, and like they made the basement into like this whole like production studio for live streaming shows there. I was like, this is fucking sick. I was like,
it is sick, yeah.
Because Tapers Nugs had a production team come out and film them, and they were in the second room, which they said they're still setting up for shit. But like there was this whole camera crew there, these guys that came out and filmed it, and I was like, this is awesome. Like more venues need to realize that. I feel like so many venues,
when you build you build a new venue, you include that in the plan.
Right. But so many venues did it over COVID for streaming things, and then had the opportunity to keep it going, but ended up not using it or not going forward with it because one reason or another, they're like, oh, we'd rather have people come in,
or pay somebody,
or you have to pay someone.
Yeah, you got to pay someone to do it. Yeah,
do it. But I mean, who doesn't want to? Just like the Ivy Room was so set up for it. It's so ridiculous when they're set up for it and you can do it. It's so sick and easy. And I don't know. I think everybody wins on it. The venue wins because people see it and go, I want to go to that venue. The band wins because you're getting your music out there, both live streaming and saving it, like you said, on the internet. It's a win for everybody. So yeah, I think it's a cool thing that bands do that, and there's more venues and more companies getting into that live streaming.
What did we see about Ari from used to be on Fish Radio, opening that new place.
Yeah,
he has.
That's crazy. He left. He's gone. I just saw that announcement. But yeah, he's opening a venue in Westchester County, I guess
Big
is
money.
where it is.
Big money.
And so he's gonna just sort of curate the venue and have, I think his first thing is this weekend. I think we talked about. It's called Flavor Drop with some of the members of Talk and the special and stuff like that. And so he's just for the next couple months curating shows at this place. So that's cool though, man.
And DJing apparently.
And DJing it, yeah. And we just talked about that last week, like bands owning venues and people owning venues and things like that. So that's cool. Like that's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it is. So Cam, you mentioned Jam Cruise. What is the report from the ground there? T and I were talking about that earlier. We should bring it up. What is it like? I've only been on a cruise once, and it was to see one band 6 times. So
I've never been on a cruise ever in my life, and Jam Cruise is something that has just never been on the board because I'm like, man, it's a fucking pricey thing to do, But it is really fucking awesome. It is really fucking nice. I mean, like, in the same way that like when you go down to PHiSH Mexico and you're not like I'm talking shit, but you're like walking around, you're like, this is fucking nice. Like the food is like nice. The fucking places to eat are nice. Like this is awesome. The pool's awesome, all that kind of shit. And so it was a similar kind of a deal at Jam Cruise. Not that I didn't expect something high, I did not know what to expect, but the room fucking awesome. The experience fucking great. And the shows like there's no curfew. And so there's no headliner really, cause like the headliner would then be at like 4 a.m. So it's like you get bands in these cool different slots and everyone usually plays like 2 sets at least. And it becomes like a kind of like a sit-in bonanza, like everybody's got
DJs. Aren't there DJs too and things playing?
Yeah, like a Brownie DJ'd and Mike wow, what's his fucking name? I'm not good with DJs. Fenora or something?
Yes.
He's DJing, and then they had LPGOB was there, of course. They had a bunch of different DJ kind of options, and then it's like STS9 and Lettuce, I think, like do it every year, so that's that kind of groove. And then they've got they had like an Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute with the Nth Power, which was like fucking insane. And then Frasco and Dogs and Pigeons and like those bands kind of filling out the jam band space. And yeah, I mean, it was fucking sweet. And like I when you listen back to the sit-ins, sometimes you're like, whatever. This was like, I mean, everyone is on like work vacation, so everyone's really like in the best mood, and it just felt like, like the Pigeon show was like one of the best Pigeon shows I'm ever gonna fucking see, because they had a horn section the whole time, and they had Kanika Moore singing one of their songs or whatever, and Frasco coming out and doing a backflip or whatever the fuck, and like there was all these cool like surprises the whole time, and like Kimmock's on board, and so like that's a cool, like if he sits in with anyone, it's cool, and like him sitting in with the Bertha Grateful Drag, and like like
and
they didn't even announce him. I think he just kind of like joined the jam, and the place was like, fuck yeah. It was really, really fucking cool. And then you also just have like the artists out walking around because they're using all the same stuff you're using and going all the same food places and stuff, and everyone's in a great mood. And yeah, I mean, it is like, it's a very PHiSH Mexico-y vibe at sea. And there's like themes every night. Everyone's all dressed up, and all the hallways fucking just like every room is all decorated and shit. And there's like a 4-piece band that'll set up in that. Yeah, there's people who are just there to fucking show off their their outfits and shit. No, but I mean, and people are up all night. People are partying, and it's like there's a lot of people that do this every fucking year, and I couldn't, like, we kept meeting people from like Montana or Iowa or some shit like that. And they're like, we love all these bands. They are not coming through where we live. We pay for this every year. We get all of them in one fucking weekend. And it's sick as shit. And I'm like,
that's funny. That's crazy. You don't think about it like that, but that's a good point. Like,
had no idea. Yeah.
Well, you have 360 days to rest up.
Yeah, Kev, that's like your theory, Kev, about just playing one city and having everybody come to you and fill in the venue for as long as you can. That's kind of like the cruise ship. Like, all right, we'll just put a bunch of bands on the cruise ship, and those people that need to get out of fucking cold weather shit and want to come see the bands that they don't get to see all year, hop on. That's cool.
It made complete sense to me, but I didn't think about that.
Put it together.
But it was very cool. Very fucking
It's
cool.
almost like if you could put together a thing on an island and make people believe that you're going to have a big concert there and get them all to pay for it.
Wait, that makes a lot of sense.
I hear dead companies playing.
The Fry Cruise.
Jesus. Oh, man. Very nice, very nice. So let me ask you, are you going to be out playing anywhere doing stand-up? Do you go out and do that, or are you strictly more social media doing it?
I don't have any like big like jam crews or night zero stuff coming up right now, but I am planning here we go. I am planning a night zero thing for the Chicago run for PHiSH.
Nice.
And that'll be at IO Theater, which is where I used to perform when I was in Chicago. That's where I hosted my midnight show. That's where I did all my improv shit. And I'll, I'm just kind of putting that show together right now. And so that'll be like a night zero thing. That place is really fucking cool and has a lot of really cool comedy shows. So if you're in Chicago, go check out IO anyway. But that will be a good time beforehand. The guy who kind of books that place, Steve, is like a massive PHiSH fan. And we never really talked about that when I would perform there. So now I do all this PHiSH stuff. He's like, what the fuck, man? He's like, what is going on? And so, be doing that. So
sweet.
Posted about that, of course, soon.
Well, we will look for it. We'll throw a link up to your site where people can find you down in the show notes. All right. I know everyone's been waiting for the Neil Young Minute, and this week Neil announced to start his huge tour that we talked about last week, he's going to be playing in Ukraine. No further information is available at this time. And that was your Neil Young Minute.
Opening the tour in Ukraine. Oh, Neil, it's great.
Yeah, we will see what happens. Cam, thank you. That's just so fantastic. Is there anything else you want to throw out? Or I guess you just broke news for us. So
yeah, broke the news. Watch the podcast, Best Show Ever podcast. It's out right now.
What's your most recent?
With Rory Scovel, who performed at Monda, comedian. I'm so surprised how many PHiSH fans specifically don't know about Rory. He improvises his whole fucking hour every time he performs. And so he's very much a jam bandy experience, but in the comedy space. I think he's a genius, and he wanted to talk about his shows. And so that was sweet. Very cool. Thanks for having me on, guys. I mean, this is, so awesome.
How much do you have to play off the audience if you're improvising?
Well, when you're going through like Second City and stuff, you're kind of taught to not play off the audience at all and just respond honestly to the last thing that was said, and don't play for the laugh, which is something that you end up just like, that's just really fucking hard to do. You know, like you get like, once you get a laugh, you're kind of like, okay, I'm chasing that now. But yeah, when you're improvising, you're taught to just kind of try to be as honest as possible, not go for the joke.
There you go.
There you go, Kev.
He taught me something. He taught me something.
Don't go for the joke.
It's a little Second City. That's like the whole first level. That's like $600 right there. That's
one of our original guys, Chad. Shout out the world's greatest Chad. Was had something to do with Second City way back.
Yeah.
So back in the 90s, probably. He's like old, you know.
Yeah, dude. That's when Second City was cool. Now it's just nerds back then it was like partying and like people fucking went out, and now it's like a bunch of very gentle nerds doing fucking.
See, that's right. That's the thing. Like the best comedy was done on cocaine, and now since we've gotten rid of that, like, come on, like
no one. That's why SNL sucks. They still make them stay up late, but none of them are on cocaine.
None of them are on drugs anymore. So like, yeah, the jokes just don't quite get there. You need that. You need that little bump. Like this week's, like last week's. You see the little. That was one of the best skits they've done in a while. The beer.
You need a little bump.
Yeah, a little bump.
Yeah, they finally had an alcoholic on the show, and the fucking thing
it
got
that to like kick it up a notch into like. Exactly.
All right, if you're watching later, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, please. If you become a member, we release stuff exclusively for members, and
do member hangs during the tour, during set breaks.
The other thing, Discord. Join the Discord. The Discord.
Join the Discord. There's probably some shit going on after this in the Discord anyway. So yeah, Discord's very fun.
We have some people who are not on other social media in there, so it makes for interesting. Are you running the outro?
I can run the outro. Sure.
Right.
Let me find
we're
it.
professionals. We're
so professional.
Cam,
this was all rehearsed.
I love this. This was so cool.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun, Cam. Thanks a lot, man.
You guys
You're welcome anytime. So hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Fuck yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Anytime. All right. Thanks, everybody. See ya. Don't go for the laugh, Kev.
Yeah.
Don't go for the laugh.
I'm writing it down right now. I'm a big fan of the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah. The dumber, the better. Remember, you have to hit end stream.
I was just going to say, I can't forget to hit end stream. Otherwise, we're going to be on. Okay, bye.
Sit, Ubu.